just want to take a moment to speak about emotions at this time where I myself am feeling such deep emotions arising for myself. And to be able to welcome our emotions is so, so important. You know, as humans, this is such a gift that we have to really feel emotions. We are, in fact, beings of emotions. And throughout our lives, you know, we've been told directly or indirectly to not to feel emotions. You know, often if we're feeling down or sad or expressing something, people around us are supporting us, trying to change how we're feeling rather than supporting us to feel and understand what we're feeling. So subconsciously, we're told to push away these emotions, you know, at a really young age. In part because our own emotions can make others feel uncomfortable, of course. You know, especially our parents. If we're feeling sadness, they don't want us to feel sad because, you know, then then it affects them. They don't want us to feel angry because then it affects them. And same with our partners, our lovers, our friends, our teachers. You know, so very rarely were we supported to go into our emotions. And so we're having to learn how to do this for ourselves. How do we support ourselves to just receive whatever is arising for ourselves, to understand where they're coming from and to release them in healthy ways. So quite often we will experience maybe sadness, you know, in contrast to happiness or love, joy. You know, I may experience sadness, and if we're not listening and releasing that sadness and really taking time to understand it, then we're going to end up often building anger in us. You know, if somebody crosses the line with us one time, we might take it, you know, and take it personally. And then they continue to do it again. And then we, of course, might start to build up a bit of anger until we reach our limit, and then boom, we explode, you know, out of anger towards somebody else or towards the situation, whatever is triggering us. So beneath this anger, we see the common thread is sadness. So the anger in which we are reaching our limit and projecting it out onto others or onto the circumstance, rather than being able to recognize underneath that is a sadness, you know. So typically comes from other people not being able and willing to meet us where we need to be met or where we desire to be met. And so we can end up over time becoming more and more sad, more and more hurt by this experience. And eventually come to recognize and accept where we are on our planet in our state of human evolution, to be able to hopefully release this sadness by allowing ourselves to feel it, to go into it, and to allow ourselves to hold ourselves through it, to allow life, creation, Mother Earth to hold us through it. In some cases, having to express things with others to possibly be held through it as well if we have that opportunity. Coming back to honor our emotions, we clear away more and more of the anger, the sadness, to experience the peace and the joy and the love that's within our hearts as our emotions are continuing to guide us home towards our deeper, greater, more fulfilling desires here in life. So may we continue to listen and to honor the emotions as they come up for us, whenever they come up for us, to not be afraid to show our emotions in front of others, to express our emotions in front of others, to know that this is part of the beauty of life. And over time we notice, as we are releasing the emotional baggage that we've been building up, that we begin to feel tears of joy, of sadness sort of mixing together so perfectly, so beautifully. They just become tears of their own. And so to do this work, many of us are carrying emotions from the past that have been built up. And through our life experience, we have the chance to see these things arise. We may be in circumstances or in relation to others where we'll be triggered. And this is where it helps really being tuned in with our bodies, because what we'll do is notice that the trigger first arises in the physical body, in a physical form. And so when that trigger comes up in the body, if we're actually connected to the body, we'll first feel it arising somewhere in the body, often connected to our emotional body, our emotional brain, which is in our belly. So we'll feel the trigger come up, and we'll notice maybe that it can be so strong that it will consume us to the point where we will want to react to that person, to that situation, often in an unhealthy way, or in a way that is going to create more issues, more problems, more pain, more suffering. So ideally we want to recognize when that's arising in the body. We want to be able to breathe in and welcome that, embrace that. So rather than react to it, we can just observe it, and from there be able to recognize our need. Maybe we're needing to take time out of that situation or away from that person to further dissolve the potential of that escalating. So we create the space and time for ourselves to go process, what is that emotion that came up? What was the trigger? What was I feeling in the body? What thoughts were coming up around those feelings? What was I wanting to react and project outwardly? And what then am I able to learn from this experience, this trigger in which this emotion that was arising? And to be able to receive what could be seen as anger, to go into potentially the sadness in which you've experienced, maybe not just in this experience happening there and now, but more so throughout your life. Maybe you've experienced similar things as well. And so taking a moment to process those emotions before we try to resolve them with others. So we're coming from a clearer understanding and communication that's less charged and therefore better able to be received if that other person is needing to or is meant to learn from that experience as well, which may or may not be the case, and that person may or may not be ready or willing to look at these parts in themselves but yet this is an opportunity for us to see within ourselves the emotions that are arising that we've been carrying with us before this experience and may be unaware of. And therefore, it's a great opportunity to release these emotions and to further recognize the love that we are. So may we share this love and compassion, not just to others, but towards ourselves. Most importantly, in these moments of time where we really need to be there for ourselves, to hold ourselves through these moments, and to find the courage and strength to be in those emotions rather than try to escape them or run away. To recognize that it's okay to feel what we're feeling, and we don't need to create more stories or feed into those emotions or judge ourselves for feeling those emotions, but instead hopefully can just be present with those emotions, present with your body, present with whatever thoughts do arise, but not getting lost in those thoughts, not getting lost in those stories of the mind, and instead coming back just to feel what you're feeling and to know that you're safe to do so. So as we continue to travel and ride this wave of light here together as friends and family, may we have the strength and courage to just be ourselves however we are, and to allow others to simply be as they are on their journeys as well, as family, with love, compassion, and a lot of patience and understanding.